Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome into Morning in the Valley. I'm Jeff Bidwell. It is Friday, September the 5th, T-minus 59 days from kicking off the 2025-26 season. Coming up in just a brief moment, we have Sam Orme. He is the redshirt sophomore forward for the Belmont Bruins, waiting in the wings. We'll get to him here in just a second. If you haven't done so already, head to YouTube and find Morning in the Valley. Easy to find. Subscribe for free. Hopefully you're watching us there right now, but subscribe, share, comment, like, all that stuff, and help this show continue to grow as we are less than 2 months away now from tipping off the season and cannot wait for that. All right. Our man got here early, and punctuality always appreciated, and he's a busy man, and we're going to get right to him. Let's welcome in Sam Orme. He is the redshirt sophomore forward for the Belmont Bruins. Sam, good morning to you. What have I torn you away from on a sunny Friday morning in Nashville, Tennessee?
Absolutely nothing. I got dragged into maybe doing the girls volleyball, like ball shagging, so I'm all good.
I mean, is that a rock paper scissors situation? If who loses has to do that, or?
Yeah, well, my roommate is sick, and I was supposed to fill in for him, but I have this and then a class at 11, so I can't do it.
All right. Well, we don't want you to miss class. We certainly won't do that. Finance major. I talked with Hallie Polk from Murray State the other day. She is a finance major, and I asked her what that was going to mean in her life, and she just said, "I don't know." What does being a finance major mean to you someday?
I did a job shadow this summer with a financial planner, and I didn't love it. I also did a job shadow with a medical device sales rep, and I think that's kind of more the direction I want to head in.
All right.
Being stuck behind a desk. But yeah.
You've got some time. You've got some time to figure out the plan. Basketball. Last year, got back on the floor after redshirting your freshman season. Just as a competitor, as a kid, you know, obviously you're a Division I college basketball player. You've had this great high school career, and then you have to sit out a year. What is sitting like? Just having to watch and like, man, I want to play, and it's God says not quite yet.
Yeah, it was tough because I'd never really like sat in the injured type of way, but it was good for me to like sit back and watch and learn kind of how college basketball operates. So I thought that was definitely beneficial for like being a freshman and redshirting. That was definitely huge for me.
What was maybe the most eye-opening part of the college basketball game once you started peeling the layers of the onion back you didn't maybe anticipate coming in?
Definitely, I'd say the speed of the game.
Yeah.
I come from a high school. We kind of tend to slow things down, and I always knew it would be like a pretty big jump just from like AAU and then into college basketball, but it was a lot faster, a lot more physical than what I kind of expected coming into it.
So you're from Carmel, Indiana? Yep. I always want to call it Carmel. That's a little panache to it. Carmel, Indiana. Did you live there your whole life, or?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So, you know, in Kentucky, we're always, you know, I've lived here long enough to know that they feel like the game was invented here in a lot of ways, but we know how important it is in Indiana. What's it just like growing up in Indiana in such a basketball crazy state? And when did it stick to you that, hey, maybe this is something I want to do?
I mean, kind of growing up, everyone in Indianapolis played basketball. Like that's kind of the first option. I'd say it kind of stuck with me when I wanted to continue with basketball, probably around like 7 or 8, kind of around then. I knew that was my favorite sport, and I was pretty good at it and pretty tall.
What the tall part always helps early. When did you? How far along in the process did you realize that maybe I might be able to go to college for free and do this?
I'd say in between 8th grade and freshman year, I was, I think, 6'2", and then I shot up to like 6'6" in the summer and kind of continued to develop. And I was like, man, I could be pretty good at this if I keep dedicating some hours to it.
Did you play any other sports growing up?
I played middle school tennis. I did some like golf tournaments competitively when I was super young, but nothing crazy.
Nothing that had a chance to unseat basketball.
Nah, probably not.
All right. So you sit out a year, and last year you get to release the hounds a little bit. What was the experience like as a whole? Just getting to play and not only play, but contribute in a big way for the Bruins?
It was pretty freeing in a way, because sitting on the bench for a year, I just kind of built up that like emotionality towards the game. Like playing in that first game, that was definitely playing in my first college game. That was definitely a really cool experience for me, just having to sit on the bench for a year. But yeah, I was really excited for that, and I was glad I was out there to contribute.
You guys, it's the nature of the beast now, that there's so much turnover every year, and you're going to lose some guys, especially at sort of the top of the pyramid and the leaders and so on. And last year, losing a Witt and a Walker and a Pierre and a Peebles, and that, even though a lot of those guys hadn't been there a long time, Isaiah Walker had been, but that's the leadership core that has gone. Now that you've gone through this summer and this spring, and there's been sort of that leadership void, how does that work? Does somebody, is it a coach? Is Coach Alexander going, all right, I need you to be a little more vocal, or is that an organic thing that 1, 2, 3 other guys sort of step into that role?
I feel like it's definitely a mix of both. I feel like Coach Alexander does a good job of bringing in good guys that are, like easy to mesh with and easy to play with. But I feel like once we get out on the floor, it's definitely kind of the job of like the guys that have been there the longest to, like get guys in the right spots, get guys the right shots, get them in the right actions, all that type of stuff.
Do you fit one of those roles?
I think I do.
Guy now?
Yeah, I think I do. Yep.
Is that something you're comfortable with? There's hey, just follow my lead guys, but then there's follow my voice guys. Which one do you think category do you fall into?
I think I'm definitely more lead by example.
Yeah.
I feel like just being here for my 3rd year now and kind of being around all the coaches, I feel like they know what to expect a little bit more out of me, and kind of relaying that to the other guys. I feel like I've been doing a pretty good job of that.
How did the summer go? I guess we're still a couple of weeks away from officially starting fall practices, but once season ended in March, I know disappointingly up in St. Louis, but it's been 6 months now. How has that gone with the new bunch?
It was really good. I think that, like I said, we all meshed pretty well together. We kind of changed a little bit of our offensive identity. We kind of switched things up a little bit. And I think all the guys have really grasped the offense pretty well so far. And I think we're going to be pretty good this year in that way.
What, I guess just in terms of the portal and bringing guys in, and it's such now, with coaches, it used to be, hey, we're going to recruit you for years, and we hope at the end of the line we get you. And now you get that little speed dating week at the end where they're going to hopefully bring guys in sometimes for a quick visit. As a player on the recruiting end of spending time with these guys and the brief amount of time they're on campus, or even high school kids that are coming in, how much of a role do you guys as players play in the, hey coach, I'm not so sure about this guy, or hey coach, we love this guy? If you guys can put your thumb on the scale a little bit.
I'd say the coaches have definitely done a good job of bringing in like the right guys that are on visits. They're pretty easy to talk to, hang out with. So I think they've done a really good job of that. But like you said, it definitely splits 50-50 in my opinion, just like with the players coming to practice, talking to the coaches, and then hanging out with like the players afterwards. I feel like there's a good balance of that here.
All freshman team last year, about 9.5 points, 4.5 rebounds a game. Did that meet your expectations of a first year in college basketball?
I was definitely glad to get the all freshman honors. I think I did kind of what I expected, just being out there, being able to contribute and playing my game, letting everything come to me.
You guys have, I think I say a trio. It feels like you're just pulling 6'9" guys out of the trees at this point. But with you and Drew Sharnowski and Brigham Rogers, just such a dynamic trio and different players. But boy, that's a lot of size you can throw at folks. What's it like going at those guys and them going at you just every day in practice, trying to get better?
Like you said, I think we're all kind of different players in a sense, but we definitely challenge each other every day. And we got another 6'9" guy. He redshirted last year, Owen Dillon. So it's good for us to all kind of like bump with each other, iron sharpens iron type of thing. I think we all do a really good job in practice of competing and making each other better.
Shot 37.5 from three last year. You got some dude named Tyler Lumblade that makes seemingly every three he takes. So quite the teammate / role model in that department. But I mean, is that number? Are you happy with that number? Do you think that number can go up? I mean, you took, I don't know, 3.5 per game last year, but Lord knows at Belmont, you guys are firing three. So everybody seems to have the green light. Where's sort of your head at in terms of the ceiling of that number?
I think 37.5 is solid. I definitely think I can improve on that. That's kind of always just been my goal, is like 40% or higher. But yeah.
What has been for you the last 6 months, in the lab, as the kids say, of like, I'm going to be better at this when everybody gets to see me again come the first week in November?
I'd say I missed some open threes that I definitely should have made. My goal has kind of always been to, like if you get a wide open catch and shoot three, no doubt you should be making it. So I think just getting more reps in, getting the feel of things, and then being ready to knock them down in the game.
Almost time. Less than 2 months. Is there, just as you guys have gone through the spring, you've gone through the summer, we're 2-3 weeks away from your 30 practices in 40 days. Like what's sort of the headspace for all you guys right now? Are you looking at November 3rd? Like that's what everything's circled at, or are we more focused on just day one of practice right now? And you don't have to lie to me and give me coach speak stuff right now.
I won't. I definitely think we're focused on just getting better every day, stacking days. And that's not coach talk or anything. I genuinely believe that we just try and take it day by day and get better and kind of grow as a group.
Blink twice if Coach Alexander's in the room with you right now. No, okay.
He's not.
Fair enough. Non-conference schedule for the most part out. I know you got no games have been, I think the Coconut Classic you guys are in. I don't think we have opponents yet, but any non-conference game you're looking forward to for one reason or another?
I'd say UC Irvine. I feel like that'll be a pretty cool one. I think we kind of let that one get away from us last year. I think we gave up 90 something points, like 50. I think we gave up 60 something points in the second half. So I think that one's definitely on the top of my mind.
California is not a terrible trip.
Yeah, that'll be cool too.
Terrible trip either. What's it like playing in the Lipscomb game, and just being around it? I mean, look, you see certain games in November, and there's rivalry games and so on, but the crowds, whether it's down at their place, whether it's Curb Center, are just bananas for that game. What is that rivalry like being a part of it?
That was probably the craziest game that I've ever played in. We were, if I can remember, we were down, I want to say 14 with like 3 or 4 minutes left. And Lipscomb didn't even play bad down the stretch. They didn't miss any shots. We just made everything. We made like 4 threes in a row, and it was crazy. Coach Alexander always says like there's some magic about that game, and I didn't really believe him, but the past 2 years, the buzzer beater from Jacoby Gillespie, and then this past year, it was crazy. It was unreal.
Have you, I guess, being in the Valley now for a couple of years and making the trips and going on the road, is there any road trip in the Valley? And again, and for any variety of reasons that you look forward to at this point, whether maybe the nightlife in Omaha or just the crowds that you run into on the road?
I'd say Drake probably. Des Moines pretty cool, and they always, it doesn't matter what time of year it is, they always pack out their arena. So that's pretty cool to see, playing in front of a pretty rowdy crowd.
Awesome. He is Sam Orme. He is the sophomore forward for the Belmont Bruins. Thank you for the time today. Best of luck this season. Best of luck with class today. Enjoy your weekend, and hopefully we can talk again soon.
Yep, definitely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right, there's Sam Orme. And I don't know why my brain just went to back to 2005 and I put Creighton back in the Valley and started talking about Omaha. But that's Des Moines, not bad. That's pretty good. Knapp Center is a heck of a deal there. Heck of a crowd that I've gotten to see the last couple of years, and it's fun. But Belmont, they're going to be in the mix, no question. And I think there's a lot of folks in the mix this season. It's going to be fun. Hopefully, I've had some people banging on the drum about when we're getting conference schedules. And just a reminder, here it is on September the 5th that the Valley conference schedules did not come out last year on the men's side until September 20th. So we're still a couple weeks away from being overdue, I guess, with that. So just something to keep in mind that we're all impatient and we all want schedules, but we got a little more time to wait for that. All right. Headlines of the morning. And we're going to start in Carbondale, Illinois, where head coach Scott Nagy has added commitment number 3 in the 2026 recruiting class, as he has gotten a 6'6" small forward out of Flower Mound, Texas, Luke Susko. He is a 3-star recruit, according to the fine folks at 247 Sports, has chosen. Didn't have a lot of offers. Sort of a weird deal, at least publicly. Didn't have a lot of offers for a kid of that stature, 3 stars and so on. Last year, back in, it's been 8-9 months ago, he got an offer from Cal. Over the summer, he got an offer from Air Force. But in the end, he is coming to Carbondale to be a Saluki. He joins now 6'8" Ty Lauer out of Pinckneyville, Illinois, I believe, if memory serves correctly, the local kid there. And then 6'4" guard out of Louisville, Kentucky, Jeremiah Jackson. So 2 ways to look at it. We're going portal, we're going freshman, maybe a little bit of column A, a little column B. But Coach Nagy really hammering the high school ranks right now. 3 commitments in that 2026 class. So we can now add Luke Susko to that group. Scheduling news, and we've got a bundle of scheduling news to get to here this morning. Speaking of Southern Illinois, thanks to UT Martin releasing their schedule, we have another piece to their puzzle. The Salukis will host the Skyhawks coming up on December the 10th. UT Martin will also be at Bradley, which we already knew about, on November the 12th. This is a good game for both of our schools. Home game against not only a quad 4 opponent, but basically a bottom 25 team in the country. With the Bart Torvik projections this year, Torvik's got him at 341. So metrically, this is the kind of opponent you would like to be able to get a win, and preferably a big win over the Skyhawks. So Bradley and SIU taking on UT Martin. Valparaiso, Roger Powell, non-conference schedule released. And Roger Powell, I got a chef's kiss this one. This is outstanding for Valpo. And, it is rare that home games are a hard thing to get these days. That's just period, hard stop. Hard to get. And we're going to get to that in just a minute with another one of our schools that's put out a non-conference schedule. It's just hard to get. And there is a component of, we've talked earlier about the challenges in getting Power 4 schools to play you. And I think on some level it is, I think there is I think the schools that get bought, you have the power schools saying the quiet part out loud, maybe about where they believe these schools sort of rank in the hierarchy of not only their conference, but in college basketball. And Valpo got bought. They've gotten bought by Kentucky. They've gotten bought by Marquette. They've got bought by Northwestern. But those are 3 quad 1 road games and quad 1 opportunities, which, again, metrically great. And look, maybe you go shock the world. It's great to be able to get those games. The rest of the schedule, I think it's fantastic that you have 7 home games. 7 home games. And it's only 1 non-D1. This wasn't like they went out and padded it with, 3 non-D1s or anything. They got 1 non-D1. They have 6 home games of Division I caliber teams. 4 of them are quad 4 games, which is what you want. Now, you got to win those games, but it's what you want. You get UNC Wilmington to come in, who's kind of knocking on the door of being a top 100 team. That's a great home game. And then again, you go on the road, you get UK, you get Marquette, you get Northwestern, you're going to go to Cleveland State. That's a quad 4 game as well. So, I mean, we're going to play quad 1s or we're going to play quad 4s. This is just hanging in the Louvre. I mean, it is everything you want. Now, obviously, again, the responsibility is you got to win those quad 4 games. And hopefully Roger Powell and his bunch will be able to, get into conference play above 500. And I think that will be a really substantial, significant step for them, as, you hate that, they've had really good dudes there and they have had to kind of rebuild after 2 straight freshmen of the year. And look, Cooper Schwieger hung around for another year, but to lose him, to lose all right off of last year's team, you're kind of like, all right, we're starting this thing over again. But with Coach Powell being there now for another year and building this culture and building this program back up, man, I like this a lot. And look, even if we just want to pencil in, all right, you're not going to be able to get the 3 big boys. That's fine. You still got 8 opportunities left. Can you go 6-2 in those games? I think you can. Especially because 7 of those 8 are at home. You go 6-2, you've gotten the conference play, above 500. I love this schedule. I think that, you're not getting any power schools to come to Valpo. That's fine. But they didn't get into those muddy waters of playing good teams, in that 150 range, 200 range that are quad 3 games, even maybe quad 4 games. And then they're just difficult to win. And again, everything with the prism here is I'm not looking at it as a season ticket holder. I'm not looking at it as am I excited to go sit and watch these games? That's not my prism. My prism is this a metrically positive schedule that we can maybe turn this thing into a help the league as a whole and help the league's no overall numbers to be able to get at large bids. That's my prism. And I think looking with those eyes through that prism at this schedule, I think is a really good schedule for Valpo and the Missouri Valley. UIC has released their schedule, and our man Maude Henderson and the Flames. Now, this one kind of flips in the other direction, and not that it's we just talk about home games. Flames couldn't get home games, quite obviously, which is on the women's side, and we talked about this the other day with the Belmonts of the world on the women's side, the Belmonts of the world. Obviously, Drake and Northern Iowa have some sort of agreements with the Iowas and Iowa States and Creightons of the world where they can, have these home and homes, and that gets them games. But people want to go to Nashville. We saw last year LSU went to UIC on the women's side and played up there. There's just certain places, Murray, Kentucky, not always easy to get to. Big schools not super interested in going there. I'm kind of surprised that UIC can't get more games. It's freaking Chicago. Let's go spend a night in Chicago, have some fun. They have 4 home games, and only 2 of them are against Division I teams. Again, I'm still confused as to the change, the amount of Valley teams that are playing multiple non-D1s at home. And again, my understanding was just it was 1 and 1 alone, and that was it, unless you were a first-time head coach in the league. But they've got 2. They're going to host Detroit. They're going to host Arkansas Pine Bluff. Those are 2 quad 4s. Arkansas Pine Bluff, 2nd or 3rd worst ranking in the country in the Torvik projections. They're going to go to Daytona. They're going to get High Point, which is a really good, could be a quad 2. They're right in that 100, 110 preseason ranking range. And then it's either Southern Indiana or Incarnate Word. And again, everything's on projections, which can hold nothing at the end, not be worth, the paper they're written on at the end. But you kind of hope, just again, from a metric standpoint, you hope you get Incarnate Word's a lot better than USI. So we'll see how that goes. On the road, a bunch of 2 quad 2s, 2 quad 3s, a quad 4, Chicago State. That's a great series. It's right across town. Look, you can home them forever. But going to Oregon State, going to Yale, those are 2 top 100 games and winnable games. Beat Yale at home last year. I thought that was really the game that launched UIC into sort of they were the November, December darling in the Valley, and beating Yale at home was a big part of that. Robert Morris, Charlotte. So it's just shocked, but I shouldn't be, because it's just hard to get home games. And I think UIC has shown that. And but to only have 2, I hate that. To only have 4 home games as a whole. I hate that number for the fan base. That's all they could get in the non-conference. Drake's women, we have finally been able to figure out. Got an announcement yesterday about the Music City Classic. They had committed to a multi-team event and didn't have opponents, didn't have a pool of teams. They were just, we're going to be there on November the 26th and 28th, and we're just waiting for somebody to join us. And we have found out that they will face Arkansas on the 25th, rather, and then they will get Northern Kentucky as well. MTEs, you hope you're going to get opportunities to play get some big boys on some neutral sites, and this tournament not really offering it. Arkansas obviously is a brand name, not expected to be a top 100 team, which kind of puts them into the quad 3 range. Northern Kentucky is about a 250 ranking last year in the net at least, so you hope they'll improve, but this might actually be a welcome rest for hey, we go to Nashville, we'll have fun for a couple of days, play a couple of games for Drake. But I mean, the rest of their stuff, they've got Creighton, they've got Iowa, they've got Iowa State, they've got Minnesota, they've got some high-powered teams on their schedule this year. Get Arkansas, look, out of the SEC, again, you hope they can pull some weight this year and get back into the top 100. But Drake has got their matchups for Nashville during Thanksgiving week. We talked about the struggle getting home games, and Evansville's women fall into that realm as well. 3 home games, 3 out of 11 non-conference games, 8 games on the road for Robin Scher. They've got, now the good thing is the home games, all Q4s. You got IU Indy, you got Northern Illinois, you got Austin Peay. Hope you can be able to get all of those. On the road, Iowa, Iowa's the one quad 1. The rest of them are Q3 and Q4s. So it feels it's manageable. It's not overwhelming. It's not one of those, hey, we got 8 road games and we're getting bought 6 times and you're just you're up against it. But it's going to be a long November and December for the Purple Aces. Just spending a lot of time in hotels and on buses and so on, trying to just get better. And a young team lost some big pieces off of last year's team, and hoping to be able to spin that thing forward and try to climb up into the middle of the pack in the Valley coming up this year. But 3 homes, 8 road games for Evansville. And lastly today, hey, let's talk video games because this was a big thing that everybody was excited about 2-3 months ago. And everyone that was excited, shame on all of us for being excited. The nuts and bolts of this was that EA Sports who has put out the wildly popular college football game that they restarted after, I don't know, however many years, 10, 15 years. Put it out last year, put a new one out this year, and everybody was gaga. And then they were like, we're going to do a college basketball game as well. And everybody just lost their minds. Well, the problem is that this was going to be a multi-year, look, as intricate as these games are now. When you think of the college football game, and what do we have? 120, 125 college football team, Division I, the Division I, the FBS teams in the country, that you're trying to put this game together with these 125 games. Well, then you have 125 between stadiums and uniforms and logo, all that kind of stuff. Well, then we want to do a college basketball game. Awesome. Well, now 120 turns into 365. So it is literally triple the amount of schools and logos, all that stuff again. And so this was going to be years before this game was going to be out. But the process was, hey, we're going to do this. The wheels are in motion. Well, in our free capitalist society, there is competition. And the fine folks over at 2K who put out the NBA 2K games and so on were like, hey, we would like in this as well. And the problem, the problem that has arisen is that 2K, basically schools have to pick one. You going to 2K or you going to EA? Now, the difference was EA was going to do everybody. 2K has publicly said at this point, even after the rumors of everything coming out, was it started at 75. Now they're kind of like, we're going to have 100 schools that we're going to, and it's not going to be part of a game currently. It was going to be added into the NBA 2K. My understanding, it was going to be part of the NBA 2K universe as sort of an add-on, not as much an Easter egg, but it was just going to be part of that where they can get it out faster. But the main harumph of everything was it's 100 schools. So it's just the big brand names and that's all. And I think from a speed standpoint, that's probably the main thing is just like we can sign up for this and we can be a part of this and we can start getting checks from this soon, within a year maybe. Whereas EA, we were still years down the line. EA's problem is that they wanted exclusive rights. EA didn't care. EA was like, hey, Kentucky, if you want to be in our game, you can be in the EA game too. That doesn't bother us. EA was like, whoa, if you're going to be you're with us or with nobody, or you're not. Like there's no sticking your foot in both pools. And the fact that 2K and the momentum was building on that side, EA yesterday, the report coming out from Matt Brown over at the Extra Points newsletter, just saying, look, EA's like, we're good. We are withdrawing our proposal and our bid to be involved in this college basketball game because they could not get all 365 teams on board. And the general reaction to that from the corners of the internet that I have been brave enough to poke my head into has been harumph. That look, when in my video game playing days and I would play college football, I wasn't playing with Texas and I wasn't playing with Alabama. It was, I'm going to go play with, my Ohio Bobcats and I'm going to go try to win the MAC and I'm going to try to get into a bowl and I'm going to try to get invited to the SEC and I'm going to try to win a national title. You start with the worst team and you try to build the thing up. And I think that, that's the allure of the EA game. And look, we all want our school, whatever that school is. And 100%, there are people that they want their school and that school is LSU or that school is North Carolina. And that's fine. And good on them. They're going to get their game, but they're also going to get a game with just the top 100 teams. And it's not going to be that authentic, hey, we get to the end and we get to play the tournament and I'm going to play, Mississippi Valley State in the first round of the NCAA tournament or, any of that stuff. And so I think there is a large disappointment this morning. This was going to be a massive, massive undertaking. There is no question it was going to be a massive undertaking to put this game out through EA over the course of, again, it was going to take years for this thing to come to fruition just with the sheer volume of schools and players, all that stuff. But for now, you're going to get a game faster. You're going to get a much more abridged version of a game, but it's going to be through the 2K side of things. And we'll see, time changes. We never thought we'd have a college football playoff and hey, we got one and then we got a bigger one and then it looks like it continues to grow. So this may not be a forever problem, but for folks that love the video games and really wanted a college basketball game and, really wanted to play with their schools that may be a little bit off the beaten path, they're going to have to wait a little bit longer for that to happen. All right. Thanks for being with us today on this Friday, September the 5th. Coming up in just a couple of minutes at the top of the hour, I'll be recording an interview with Rocco Miller, from bracketeer.org, one of our scheduling gurus from around the country. And we're going to be talking about scheduling and talking about sort of the trends he's seen in scheduling this fall and how that sort of impacts folks here in the Missouri Valley and how it impacts trying to get more than one team into the NCAA tournament and get his thoughts on, are we really going to expand? Are we going to 12? Are we going to 14? What he thinks the best path is for that. So we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. Hopefully have that coming up on Monday. But for today, I want to thank Sam Orme, the Belmont sophomore forward, for being with us. Thank you for being with us as well. If you haven't done so, please head over to YouTube and subscribe to the program there. It is free to subscribe, like, share, comment, all of that, and help us continue to grow. Could not do it without you, and appreciate you all very much. Have a great weekend, everybody. We will be back, no holiday weekend. So we'll be back on Monday, 9 a.m. right here on Morning in the Valley.